for prostitutes, we don't have any problems with him. But when they see that you're using that money to fulfill your obligation of participating in the jihad, which is already in force, to liberate the Holy Land and to liberate the land of Khorasan, and you have an obligation, a religious obligation, to participate in a jihad when it is in force. This is not fard ayn, this is not fard kifaya, this is fard ayn. When you are not called upon to go and fight yourself, because the leaders of the jihad are not asking for that, they're asking you to send money. They're asking you to assist them with weapons and so on. And now you want to send money and they see that you're using your account to do that, guess what they'll do with your account? You don't need a PhD to answer this one. They'll declare you a terrorist and seize your account, or they'll freeze your account. Can they do that? Guess what happened about 2 or 3 months ago in Argentina? Do you know what happened? The government of Argentina froze all bank accounts, all in Argentina, for a whole month and got away with it. And the Jews have a tremendous stranglehold over the Argentinian economy. Powerful influence over the Argentinian economy. This is what happened. And so we have a very dangerous future lying just around the corner. And woe unto a people who have eyes but cannot see. Woe unto a people who have ears but they cannot hear. Woe unto a people who have hearts but they cannot understand. The grave danger which is around the corner, Allah says of such people, who have eyes but they can't see, who have ears but they can't hear, who have hearts but they cannot understand. He says of such people, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ, they're just like cattle. بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ, rather they're worse than cattle, they're more misguided than cattle. How did this happen to us? What is the plan and the strategy of the enemy who has brought this upon us? When did this all start? Paper money started essentially like a check. You write a check, huh? Yeah, you want a BMW, you write a check for the BMW. Provided, of course, that you have money in the account, then you can get the BMW, write a check. But you took the BMW and you're driving down the road, and when they cash the check, you got no money in your account. This is called fraud. You'll be arrested or put in jail. You're writing a check and it cannot be cashed because you have no money in your account. That's fraud. This check will have validity if the check can be cashed for value. Then it would be halal. This is how paper money started. It started in Britain, the island of Tamim ud-Dari. Yes. The British created something called the Bank of England in the 17th century. And towards the end of the 17th century, the Bank of England issued the first paper money. And I've seen it myself. The picture of it is written exactly like a check. So long as this check, this currency now, let's use this word, so long as this currency was redeemable, meaning you could cash it, you could get the gold for it, it was halal. But guess what? Every businessman knows this. A man comes to your shop or to your store to buy goods. Would you accept a check from him without knowing him? No. He has to be a man whose character, whose integrity, and whose record is established. or someone has to vouch for him. Okay? Then we can accept a check from him. Or the other alternative, we must know who he is, so that if the check cannot be cashed, we send the police for him. And when they send police for him, he'll be arrested and put in jail. Yes, then we could accept a check from you. But those who are now issuing the checks, are they a people we can trust? No. These are the people who are now empowered with a power which is strange and mysterious, and they use this power for blatant oppression and aggression. Are these the people you can do business with? They send their armies and they colonize the rest of the world. And then they rip mankind of their resources. Yeah? With the hearts of beasts. Yeah? If ever there was a European who didn't have the heart of a beast, he could never make it to the top. No. He will never become part of government. He will never be in charge of the armed forces. This decent man who has a human heart, he will never make it to the top. The European civilization is now taken over by people who now control it and who have the hearts of beasts. And I have recognized them in previous lectures. You're dealing with Gog and Magog now. Occurred after the end of the Second World War. Very interesting things happened before that, but I don't want to keep you here until 11 o'clock, so let's cut out part of it. You can get it in this book here, Prohibition of Riba in the Quran and Sunnah. And let me go straight to the end of the Second World War. The European powers who were victorious, they now called an international monetary conference and invited the rest of the world to attend. It was held in a place in upstate New York called Bretton Woods. And there were Muslim countries present. Saudi Arabia was there. It was held in 1944. And out of the negotiations of Bretton Woods emerged the Bretton Woods Agreement, which created a new international monetary system. Two important things were agreed upon at Bretton Woods. Number one, prepare yourself for it. Not all checks can be cashed. Only one check. Which one? The US dollar. Only this currency can be redeemed for gold at $35 an ounce. So this is halal. But all the rest of the paper money in the world are now checks which cannot be cashed. You could exchange them for the US dollar, check for check, but you cannot cash them. That's the first agreement at Bretton Woods. And so now it's plain. The system is 99% haram, only 1% halal. That is the US dollar, which the US government has promised that if you come with US dollars, we will convert it for you to gold at $35 an ounce. We gave our word to you, and we will keep our word, and we put it on the US dollar. Did you see it? In God we trust. Ever saw it? The second thing that came out of the Bretton Woods Agreement was that not every individual can take his US dollars to have it converted into gold, redeemed. No. Only governments, only central banks can do it, not individuals. So are we not a part of the market? This system is now 99.9% haram. It is only 0.1% halal, meaning that a government can go to the United States and say, here are US dollars that we have, we want you to redeem it for gold at $35 an ounce. You gave your word, now keep your word. So 0.1% halal. This is the Bretton Woods Agreement. And it lasted from 1944 until 1971. Some of you, I believe, must have been born already by 1971. In 1971, September 1971, the British government, island of Tamim-Budari, the British government came in one Friday evening to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is the US government, and said, Uncle Sam, we got $3 billion US dollars here. We want to cash these checks. You promised on the Bretton Woods, you'll promise to do it. $3 billion US dollars to be redeemed into gold at $35 an ounce. Suddenly, Richard Nixon couldn't digest his food anymore. Why? Because he had written more checks than he had money in his account. If I did that, or Sheikh Faiz did that, they would arrest us. But who can arrest Uncle Sam? If he gave the gold to Britain, then Monday morning, who is going to be at the front of the line? Saudi Arabia. Because they got a mountain of checks for all the oil they've been selling. And they will say, if the British wanted the gold, we better go and do it quickly. But Uncle Sam didn't have the gold to redeem all that US dollars. So Uncle Sam retired to Camp David, Richard Nixon. And then on Sunday, he addressed the world and he said, we gave our word, but we don't have to keep it. And so the Bretton Woods Agreement collapsed in September 1971. After the collapse of the Bretton Woods Agreement, the world of paper money is now 100% haram. Surely the world of Islam would recognize that. Surely the ulama of the world of Islam would recognize that. But no, it was not to be. Illa masha'Allah. It was not to be. Between 1971 and 1973, an ominous thing was happening. From